Utah in their typical red. The Orange play the Utah Utes tonight. And after a 3-0 win over Boise State, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, Syracuse is looking good. They're coming out here. They're looking to make a statement game. They're trying to show these other teams in the PEC that their match against Boise State is not a fluke. I was talking to Law, the team manager, before the game, and he said, we did it against Boise, and now we got to do it again. Lunar wants to start that off, diving in on the background, hits Genji down low. Azer cleans it up. Now we're even.
It's a really good start for the Orange. They expect to 3-0 this Utah squad, they told me, and it's just kind of how they believe it. They are very confident themselves. Lunar and Mac get 2. They split 1, and we're on Ilios. And moving over to the right side, Doom has to back off. It's going to be a very early team fight win for the Orange. They're going to get sight first. And after the Hazard ban, Notion plays a lot of Hazard. It's going to be Doomfist, and a good scouting report from the Orange, as they ban a interesting choice here as they're playing Ilios. They banned Ana.
Yeah, so, sometimes, if the other team has a good Ana and, you're not too sure you're going to play Ana, sometimes it's easier to just get that character, to get that hero, out of the pool. Mac now in this Tracer 1v1 on the right side while the whole team fights up left. On top of this little structure here, the Genji deflect comes out. Azer caught out between a rock and a hard place. Going to get taken down by Sonic. Syracuse now in a 5v4. Have to make their decision. Looks like they're going to give.
Back the one on Tracer as Teddy gets one in the form of B-Dog. Both healers down, and the Orange are going to have to back off. Lunar does get their healer. So they can still be a little aggressive. They can find the right pick, but Lunar goes down. It's going to be a bit of a delayed push. Mac and Azer will back off. Azer the first one picked, of course. But Tracer should not go down here, lest there be a stagger. This Orange squad has been very good on the offensive end, but they lose it here as the defense was the main struggle against Boise State a few times, but it was an absolute walloping as they stampeded the Broncos.
Both these Tracers have that pulse bomb up. Both of those are going to come in big in this next fight. These Tracers are going to be looking for a flank, try and get a pulse bomb in on the back line. But right now, Azer, Lunar up top, take down the Kiriko. Great coordination from the dive now. Doomfist low HP. Lunar opts to go back to point. The pulse bomb, like we were talking about, finds 2, but Syracuse clean it back up. Now we're in a little scrap fight. We got the Tracer, and we got our Lucio here. Lunar able to take down the one, and now it's just Tracer stalling out for percent. Going to have to give this point eventually.
Alt advantage to neither. Lunar gets one more. What a good jump there as Kylao goes down, and the Utah Utes have lost point once again. Azer going to be in that back end with Tracer. They have alt advantage now. It's a 4 on technically 3. It will be 4 very soon with Teddy getting alt in just a moment. Mac going to get one in the form of Sonic. Great. That's huge. That's a great backline kick. And the Orange have one more. Azer dashes. Here's another. Mac gets one more, and Dux goes down. The Orange have control of this one.
Yeah, that's great macro play there from Syracuse. You saw Utah, their tank Notion, kind of go into the back and try and take space on that point after already losing Sonic to Max Tracer. And Syracuse, instead of having to fight and contest that Doomfist on point, goes, let's just get into their back line and let's wipe their team and let's go into this next fight.
A really good start here, 70% for the Orange. Keep in mind, to those, this is a control, so it's going to be best of 3 of controlling to 100%. Saint gets Dux, that's a good support trade. Saint gets another. The backline doing some work. Main support Saint doing great normally on this map, but that was where the Ana ban came from because Saint's been quite good. Lunar just kind of defending the front line, has the mobility to get away, and just poking in some damage. Has ult, might go for it here. Bit of a flank from the Orange.
Yeah, Lunar, he wanted that jump into the back line, doesn't quite get it. Gets to keep the ult. Syracuse now with 4 ultimate abilities up against 5 from the Utah Utes. The Kiriko ult comes out now. The Kitsune Rush goes in. Lunar finds one with the glasses on a Sonic. Teddy trades it out on B-Dog. Lunar, Mac each come in for 2. The time is ticking. We are in overtime. Do or die for the Utah Utes in this first point.
Doomfist the only one on. Lucio has to back off, and then Notion gonna get 1 in the form. It's gonna be a trade though. Only 1 on site. It's Doomfist, 2 tanks. The only ones remain, but here comes Saint, the main support. Lucio alt gets them out, has them some more time in overtime, some more to kill. Over in the other end, trying to get one more. Doomfist very low. Lunar just kind of holding right here, and it's a 1-1 contest, and not much there. As they C9.
C9 for the Utah Utes. The rotation favored them. Azer and Mac were both on the respawn timer when all of the members of the Utes were up. So, you hate to see it if you're a Utes fan, but for now, Syracuse take the 1-0 lead on this first map. Again, this series, Carson, will be a best of 5. We don't have those graphics up for you now, so you just get to listen to our voices as we tell you what's going on. 1-0 in map 1.
You do get to look at the Overwatch players. The one you just saw was Lunar. Lucas Stolman, hello. Mr. Stolman, I know he's watching his son play very well at the tank position. That's Azer, team captain. Harris.
Ex-roommate.
Ex-roommate.
My ex-roommate.
Forgot about that.
Left on good terms.
There's B-Dog, one of the supports for the Syracuse squad, transfer in from Lebanon Valley College.
Syracuse looking to jockey for position as this Ruins point starts to take form. You see Mac on the Sojourn go up to the top left. Now, Mac is on the Sojourn, which puts Azer on the Tracer, both of them very capable in those roles. If Mac is playing the Sojourn, Azer's going to play the Tracer. Otherwise, you'll see Mac on the Tracer like you saw in that first point anyway, as we boot in to this first team fight. Carson, what's going on?
Something you're going to notice is a lot of that Syracuse squad is spread out. They're comfortable playing more of a dive, and they're going to be able to get damage from multiple angles, which kind of forces team to look different ways and makes sure that their communication has to be perfect in order to beat them. Doomfist low already and goes down despite 2 healers. What a shot from Mac. Ducks get Saint in the back end though, and it's a good job from there to at least trade a support. A's are going to win the Tracer duel as well, and it's a good start for the Orange. They have advantage here. Tank kind of that central point of the team, and they're missing it.
Mac with that full railgun charge, going to miss it on the Lucio now. Syracuse really trying to lock in and keep hold of this point. They have control as Teddy takes down Lunar. Syracuse now in a 4v5. They're going to just give, reset, get their tank back. Actually, I lied to you. Azer wants to go in, bleed this point out for all the percent he can get.
They're a good enough team to know when they have to back out, and they're going to just try and contest a little bit longer to make sure they get that percentage longer. Every inch matters. It's kind of like football with percentages. Doomfist already low. It's a bit of an overextension early. Lucio comes there to save them, and they can't capitalize as Teddy in the back line is going to get Saint, and the Orange are down to support. It's a very rough start for this map point, as now they're going to have a good advantage here and have to wait. Azer goes down in the Tracer trade as well.
Yeah, Lunar just has to get out here, use that jump to try and get away, run away with your life. Some, miscommunications in the back line. A good play from Teddy to take down Saint. Kind of stalls Syracuse in their tracks, but all of a sudden, Mac finds kill with the railgun. Lunar finishes off Sonic with that Winston right click, and we're in it. 5v3. Syracuse swarm the point.
It's a really good start. It's a trade between both supports and both DPS. Here comes the Primal Rage. Lunar gets the tank. 2-on-1, 3-on-1 in the point, and they're going to get it right back. If Lucio can't contest for much longer, down goes Sonic and Notion. 2 for Lunar as they go into the backline, immediately trying to get more. They need to delay this Utah team. It's their whole strategy to keep you waiting as long as you possibly can to even try to attack, then delay that actual attack and just spread you out and just kind of pick you off when you're not with your team. Any mistake you make against this Orange squad will be noticed, and you will get picked off.
Yeah, the team synergy from the Syracuse Orange is quite something to be feared as Mac finds that fully charged railgun headshot onto Sonic. Teddy, though, does not want the fight to go down that easy. Finds the trade onto Azer. Kalo with that Tracer pulse bomb, able to stick Mac, and now Syracuse in a 4v3. The Kitsune rush comes out. Syracuse committing ults to this situation. The Winston dies on point. Kiriko just too far out of the fight to do anything about it. Saint now stalling on point. Just stalling for percent will eventually go down. Syracuse forced to back up.
It's a good job by Saint not to use the ult there. I know they definitely thought about it. You're at low health and you see your team at low health with Lucio. It's a very good job for them to just save ult. No, they have advantage there. It's a 3-on-2 in terms of ult advantage, and 2 very big ults. It's Sojourn and Tracer as well as Lucio. They are very, very good ones, and the ults are the main reason those characters are actually in meta right now, and just generally because they are so good.
Nice.
Azer's gonna get 1, and that Tracer trade, they've been dominant all day. Azer gets 2, Teddy goes down, no DPS for Utah. They're forced to use that Lucio ult, and Azer goes down in the chaos, but a response from Saint as R. Lucio's gonna go and get that ult there. Saint gonna get 1 more, win that Lucio trade. Lunar gets another, Saint gets 1 more, and the Orange, they get point back.
Looking at the ult economy on these two teams, Azer and Mac, so Syracuse, both DPS sitting with their ultimate. On the other side, you're going to have Notion, and that's pretty much it. If you're Utah, you want these DPS to be able to build their ults up quickly for this fight, but Lunar sitting at 90% should have the Primal up as well.
It's a really good start for Lunar there, who's been great all of that first round and doing another good job with kind of being that point. No one's playing around it, not really playing with them, as that's going to be a Q toss that doesn't get anyone. Notion gets smacked, though, in the back line. It's a 4-on-5 for the Orange as they try and defend this point. Here we are in overtime. Lunar's got Primal Rage. Nearly gets Kiriko. Jumps over, gets Kiriko. It's a support down, but the Orange are left without Saint. Jumping forward one more time, trying to get them off-site in overtime. Lunar stuck and goes down. What a job from the Utah Tracer, Kylio.
Yeah, Syracuse obviously have lost the point here. B-Dog's got to try and get out with his life reset, able to use that Phantom Step to get away and maybe group up, try and get 1 more. Syracuse wants to end this as quick as possible. The points ticking up, 96, 97. You have to have someone on that point before 100% hits, so you can get that overtime, which Syracuse secures. A quick 1-to-1 trade. Now we're at 4 apiece.
It's a tie contested as they one goes down in the form of support for the Orange and a DPS. For the other side, it's Reaper. Still overtime, kind of just waiting and contesting on point until they can get ult. Teddy has ult. Orange are just kind of only leaving Lunar on point. It could be bad. They don't want to C9 the situation, obviously. Matt gets ducked since a loss of a support as Saint comes back for the Orange. Now 5-on-4, capturing. Orange have it with overtime. Overtime all the way down. Nearly another C9 is Reaper.
Watch out for the ult here.
2 for the Orange, but here comes the ult. 3-on-1. Reaper the only one. Trying to get one more, and down goes Tracer. The Orange sweep in control. 2-0. They're up 1-0 already.
Strong play from the Syracuse Orange, able to capitalize on that mistake. You saw in that last fight, Notion, the tank for the Utah Utes, tried to go get a right click, tried to contest Mac off of height with that, the Doomfist trying to contest Sojourn off of height, but it doesn't really work. You miss that right click, you miss your punch, and you go too far into Syracuse's backline. What that allows Syracuse to do is then pounce on the Kiriko. Kiriko is traded out directly following that, and that's just good play. That's what we're talking about when we say that the margins at this level of Overwatch are paper thin. One short mistake and you lose map 1.
The Orange are really confident in their support's ability to survive, and that's one thing you're noticing. I mean, they'll let B-Dog and Saint 1v1 in any situation, so the entire DPS and tank squad can go back there and just clear their backline. They may have lost one support, but you're suddenly without a DPS, a support, and a support, and now you're just kind of at a disadvantage just by you thinking you got a good pick on a healer, and it's just a rough situation. Syracuse has been really good all year, and well, it's a short sample size. They've only played 4 full matches. It's been a really good job for them so far for a team that saw 2 new players, Mac, a junior by eligibility, I believe, and B-Dog, who is a graduate student with a year of eligibility, is finally back. It's really interesting to see this squad kind of have new players and have new breaths, and they've been really good so far, beating Boise State we talked about last week. Stampede over the Broncos.
Not only beating Boise State,
3-0.
taking them down.
Syracuse led to use a game. Wow. The Lions stayed up too late last night watching the Monday Night Football game.
But we're not going to keep you up too late watching this Overwatch game because I'm feeling like unless the Utes are able to find some answers, find some responses, it might be a quick 3-0 for the Big Orange here.
I mean, as you're seeing, they just played so well in the face of adversity, down 3-2 or 3-5 in that situation. They found a way to back and get the trades. Lunar kind of just leads that Orange offense all the way back to where they need to be. They win in overtime again. It's 2 overtime wins for the Orange. The last one a little bit more stressful than the first one.
You watch this and you just see the great positional play. I mean, crazy right click from Lunar there to finish him off. But the great positional play from the Syracuse DPS, able to find the openings, find the gaps in Utah's backline, in the overextensions from Notion, able to really capitalize on those advantages and make every small little thing count. And I think you kind of just saw a death by 1,000 paper cuts there.
Yeah, something that feels that way, and one thing that I kind of want to highlight, B-Dog, who you just kind of don't see a lot, and that's a good thing for a healer. Huge impact for B-Dog on that other end, and they've been great in the support game, and when you don't notice the support, they're normally there, unless you're not noticing the numbers, but they are. The Orange have been really good in that support backline. It's going to be really interesting just kind of to see what they can do with this, because B-Dog, the reason I think they play so good and they can support Lunar so well is because they played tank at Lebanon Valley College for 3 years.
If you play tank, you know that the tank needs heals. And you kind of, this is why playing different roles, even if you're just off queuing, when you're, let's say you're a little tired, you're just playing some games for fun, playing a different role can really help you understand the game in a deeper way, right? Because you know what the support wants. If you're the support and you play tank, you know what the tank wants, so you can set yourself up to better enable your tank. And that's kind of what this game's about. It's about the team enabling each other. It's about the tank taking space, the DPS taking that space that the tank just took, and the healers keeping everybody alive.
I mean, you saw that a lot last week, especially with the very quick swap the Broncos made. If you remember, if you were watching that stream last week, the Broncos swapped into a very interesting combo. It was a DPS and support line surrounded around a Bastion Roadhog combo, where they basically went shooting gallery, had a few players up top, and had the Roadhog basically taking damage on point, because Roadhog can technically take the most damage in a small period of time, and it's kind of just that we're trying to pick people off. That Orange squad, they've been so good at just really adjusting and finding that space and making sure the other team can't get space in any way, shape, or form. They know how to adjust for each tank that's being played, each DPS that's being played. The team has played together all summer, even off-roll, and learning each other and how they have to play the game. Utility is the best way to gain leadership. Knowing what other players need is the best way to support other players. And like you mentioned, playing those other roles can really help that.
Moving into map 2, we're going to go to New Junk City. There was a sub for the Utah Utes. Notion is out, and No Man 4055 is in. Syracuse,
no Sam.
No Sam. 4055 is in. Syracuse keeping it all same. You see Lunar on the Zarya. Learned a lot from the former Syracuse tank player, Xiao, also known as Hating Fathers. What the team called China's gift to Zarya. Learning from the best as Azer on the Reaper into the back line starts chunking damage out from the team. No Sam able to win that first duel onto the Zarya, shooting the bubble. It's not what you want to do. Zarya turns into a cannon of death and destruction if left unchecked.
It's a good reply from Azer, but it's just not kind of what all the orange needed there. Bit of a rough spot. B-Dog alone on point, just trying to go down, sticking back to the team there. Lunar very good with Zarya last time out against the Broncos, and it's just one of those situations where they've been so good on Zarya that we haven't really seen a Zarya play that aggressive until now, and it's interesting to see just how Lunar's going to respond.
Yeah, before the game, you heard Lawson, their manager, said, all right, guys, let's do some thinking. If Zarya has a bubble and she's overextended, what do? You shoot the bubble and you kill Zarya. So they're thinking about these situations. They're thinking about the macro. They're trying to get into it. Zarya now, Lunar uses that bubble on themselves. Now 5-second cooldown, and it's not up. Will be taken down for it. Saint, though, gets the trade. Now Syracuse in a straight 4v4. No tanks allowed. The Reaper goes up, but right before he does, it gets taken out by B-Dog. Azer finds the finish on a Sonic. This should be a nice point for Syracuse.
It's a really good job right there. They're trying to get the last two, Kiriko and Tracer. Saint will get the Tracer. Saint will also get the Kiriko. One of the best offensive healers in the game. Lucio, yeah, but Saint, more than anything, I think one of the best supports in the PEC. And you're going to see that. Surprised they aren't going to, wouldn't be surprised if they won an award or two in Vegas.
Into this next fight, Syracuse just poking around, trying to find their opening. Both teams just taking it slow. Charging ults. You see on the side of Syracuse, Azer's got that ult, looking to use that Death Blossom in. Gonna get shot down now. The Kitsune rush comes in. Syracuse trying to take their offensive, firing through Azer. Lucio ult comes out for the side of the Utes, and now Syracuse have to back up, let them take the space, but Azer, Mac, B-Dog, each team up for one.
It's a 2-on-3 right now. 3 for the Orange, now 4. Lunar with a good pick on the Tracer. They're chasing Lucio out, trying to get that overextension to turn into a stagger, but Sonic will make it out. Dux and Sonic have been really pressured by the Syracuse squad. Mac has full ult here. They're kind of trying to delay, like we mentioned. They love to do this. Kind of overextend a little bit as a team to force you off. No real flank has been great around this Orange squad. Here comes the ult from Mac. Gets a good headshot on Zarya. They're trying to get out as Zarya ults and puts them all together in that vortex.
Nice.
Zarya goes down to Lunar with the help of Mac. A real good job right there. Sonic a little bit overextended, but there is one on point. They have to back up. Mac doesn't fully realize it right yet. Lunar on point, though, trying to get back. In overtime, they need to get that out. Keep in mind, it's a best of 3 in these little control maps. Kind of like King of the Hill. They lose this overtime, Utah will not lose the game.
Yes, that is right. Now you just got to get rid of one more. Teddy taken down. I want to point out Saint with the Lucio ult there, right? Because you saw Mac pop that Sojourn ult early to try and get some picks to try and force the Utes off of the fight. But Zarya, responds with the Graviton Surge. Saint able to get that Lucio beat in, give his team health, let them survive, and let them take that fight.
It's a really good job by the Syracuse support squad, who's just been a monster of a backline. Pushing in forward now. They get that interesting ult that's going to work out. I mean, they're still stuck in the same spot, but they can't get really anybody. Mac goes down to Teddy. And the Syracuse squad a little low on ult and a little low on team members here. As Mac went down, they're going to have time to get back, but will it be in time? Mac gets another.
Charge.
No DPS for the Orange. It's going to be full support on Lunar. Can they withstand the damage with the target? And no, they can't. Lunar goes down. 2 supports will back up. B-Dog and Saint make it out. So no stagger, but they'll have to wait for Lunar to come back.
Yeah, Lunar with the Zarya there, maybe overheated just a hair, got 100 charge, and when you get 100 charge on that Zarya, you do so much damage, and it's so hard to resist the urge to just run in. Now, if we look at the ult counter, we have 3 for Utah, only 1 for Syracuse, but 3 coming up soon, hopefully.
I mean, did you see that Tracer right there? The Utah Tracer, Kyleu just stuck in the corner with just kind of hiding in the bottom, and that's a really good ult from that Reaper. They get 2. No support for Syracuse. And it's been a rout on the second point for Utah as it's a team kill. Goodness gracious.
Great synergy there from the side of Utah, right? So they throw out that pulse bomb and force out that Kiriko, force out the Suzu, force out that invulnerable ability. Remember, if Kiriko hits E, everybody in the area is invincible for, I think, a quarter of a second. So you force it out with the pulse bomb, then you come in with the Reaper ult. Great combo.
Also forced out that ult, which didn't get any usage. It didn't hit the ground in time. Here comes the ult from Mac, but it's a counter ult from Lucio. But it's still good right there. B-Dog goes down. Kyliao. It's a lot of damage from that Syracuse squad, but Utah handling it well. Good use of the support ult there. Kyliao going to get 2, and it's again or rather a 5-on-3 against the Orange, and they have to back up as Saint gets stuck and goes down. Really good start from this Utah squad. They're ranked 16th in the country for a reason.
Teddy and Kylo, the Tracer and the Reaper from the Utah Utes, are able to play off of each other very well, able to bait out that fully charged shot from Mac on the Sojourn, because that will one-shot a Tracer to the head. So if you can waste that on the Reaper, then the Tracer can come in from the back and not have to worry about anything. Great play.
Seen right there, they get stuck in that Zarya ult. The Tracer Bomb gonna only get 1. Teddy gets Mac, and it's again a 5-on-3. The Orange are gonna have to back off as Lunar goes down. It's a 5-on-2. This Orange squad is getting decimated in the offensive end, and they can't get a push on point. It's great ult usage from the Utah Utes. They don't really have anything themselves, just the Lunar's ult on their end. It's the Vortex, but Teddy's ult coming up again has yet to not get 2 kills with it.
Lunar, the Graviton Surge for Syracuse as they try to mount their next offensive. The Reaper bubble, or the Zarya bubble on the Reaper, excuse me. Zarya 1 HP, shoots out the Gravitic Flux. Everybody caught in the middle. Mac, it's an easy cleanup, a triple off the back of a great ult from Lunar.
Now that's the squad you like to see. It's a collateral for Mac. They get 2 with 1 shot. How about a Clay Pigeon? Really good job right there, and they're now possession of point. Utah has 47%, first to 50. Remember, it's first to 3. Now full points here.
These points go quicker, and as they rotate from point to point, you get to explore more of the map. The map, it's the same map every time, it's just a different point, but these are massive maps, so you kind of fight in stages across the map as these points progress. Syracuse now on this third one. Azer trying to take the onus on himself, goes into the back line, opens space up for B-Dog, Lunar, Mac to each find 1. Syracuse now just have to clean up this fight, which Mac will do without question.
Mac gets a second right there. Kyliao goes down. It's a real good job from the Orange. They push them all the way off point. Now you see them kind of in that overextended phase as a team. Problem with overextending is typically you're alone, but when you do it as a team, I guess it's just called positioning.
It's called tactics, Carson.
Azer going to push in with Zarya. Mac going to get a headshot in the back line. Teddy goes down. They have that overextended Zarya as they want. Low, they're going to shoot through the bubble and get him. Lunar gets 1. Another for Azer as Dux goes down. And a third. Mac gets Sonic. Mac's been dominating this game.
Great shots from the Syracuse. Hit scan, Mac. As the Orange take the second points. Now they're up 2-1. You see the next flashpoint unlocks in 40 seconds. Both teams have some time to get over there to set up before you go into this point, which will be do or die for the Utes.
We did not mention the bans. It was Ram and Genji, which is kind of why you're seeing Azer on Tracer. Initially on Reaper, decided that was going to work out too well against Zarya, so they swapped it up. Sojourn was Mac, which means Azer is going to be Tracer. Azer doesn't play too much Reaper. It's typically Mac, but it was a bit of a change up there that they got through and exited.
The 2 DPS ults up for Syracuse as the ults start coming through for each side. Syracuse now back up. They pause for a second. They heal. They're ready to go. Take some space. Both Zarya bubbles used. They have no bubbles for the Zarya. Tracer now in the back line. Uses the recall. That's a big cooldown out for the side of Syracuse. Mac and Azer now looking around on that left side trying to get something in. But while they do that, Teddy goes in on the tank and the back line and kills them both. And Syracuse have no choice but to reset.
Reaper ult has been great at doing damage, forcing them when they play together to kind of back away from each other. They go all the wrong directions. Someone goes down. Everyone else is at low health, and they get picked off one by one by one. While the Orange have the ult advantage here, it's a bit rough of a situation. They have to come back onto point, and they need to get it now again at 50%. They basically only have 2 pushes here to try and keep Utah out of this point.
Low HP from the Tracer on the right side, able to get away. The Graffitic Flux comes through. Now the ult has to respond. Both Zarya use their ult, but Teddy goes down to the Tracer. Syracuse capped the point with 4 members of Utah up.
That's a really good job. That's a double Lucio and double Zarya ult. Both Zarya shooting at each other through the Flux. Just waiting as the Lucios protect both of them. Saint gonna get 1 more in the form of Kiriko. It's a good stagger. They got it with 4 alive, and now they had 4 alive again, as now Dux has to come back with not too much movement ability. They're going to have to wait a few more moments, which in this game mode can really just be crucial. They're going to come all through that one door.
Mac going to pop the overclock now, uses it as it's time to go in, finds one on Teddy before Utah can try and compose himself and get out. Kyle with the great pick in the backline on B-Dog, uses that pulse bomb, finds the kill on Mac. Azer now in this Tracer 1v1 looking to do anything, but no Sam takes down Lunar, and Azer knows that he has no choice but to try and reset or contest.
Yeah, they have to go down. It's going to help not stagger them if Azer dies. Or excuse me, Azer gets downed. Kailau going to get them on the headshot. They still have Pulse Bomb. They didn't, I only used one ult there, 2 ults, excuse me. And they still have the advantage here for just a moment until Utah takes it. But they're going to have to push here. It's a quick one. Have to touch before.
Yep.
And 400 and after 99. Lunar pushing forward. Gets absolutely mincemeated. Sonic going to get Lunar. As the Kitsune Rush comes out, it's both from both teams. Sam, Sonic both get one. And it's an absolute decimation as the Utah DPS squad just mow through the orange and make orange juice out of them.
Wow. Orange juice was made. Nice little movement there from Azer. Able to get away, not get staggered, playing around with the crouch, playing with the movement, gets the health pack, gets out. Now we are in to flashpoint number 5. Whoever wins this flashpoint will win the map. Again, if Syracuse wins it, they will be up 2-0. If the Utes win it, it's tied at 1 apiece.
They have to find a way to win here. It's interesting to say. So Utah lost last week, 3-1. This was the only game mode that they won in. On the other end, behind, Saint is going to have to deal with that Tracer who's been a pesky fly. I should say Hornet, because they have been stinging real well. Trying to push up now. They're going to try and get to that top advantage.
Great positioning from Mac here.
Choke point. Zarya nearly goes down, but Kailau goes down to B-Dog. Lunar goes down, and there's no support for the orange right now as B-Dog gets picked off, but they're going to be able to get point potentially with only the 2 DPS around. No, going to get contested at the last moment. They're still going to fight for it. Try not to stagger. Mac goes down. Tracer still in that area, going to back off and head to the team. Going to delay the push a little bit for both sides.
Yes, you saw Mac get a really good positioning on height there, but what Syracuse didn't do was go into the point, right? You have to fight in a spot where Mac on that high ground is going to be able to see the target. They got pushed back by the offensive surge from Utah, and Mac was just essentially out of the fight because he couldn't see.
Syracuse does a really good job spread out, but the part of that is it can create really big problems with flanking, and that's what you're seeing. Teddy gets 2, Mac goes down to Ducks, and they have to back off again. Not too high of a percentage, goes a little bit slower on the last one. It feels as Teddy going to get a headshot on Azer. It's a team kill again for Utah, their second of the match, and they threaten to bring this to 1-1. It's a real good start, and No Sam has been a key player here. Real good Zarya play has let Utah back into this one.
Yeah, when you see your tanks and your supports die first and your DPS aren't there, that means you have to kind of rethink how you're approaching this offensive push. You have to stick together more, and that's what Syracuse is doing. They group up at the front, they use that Kitsune Rush, they go in together, but Lucio booped away from the team, unable to get value from that ult, so Saint has to hold it. Syracuse now looking in a dire straits as this map looks to go the way of Utah.
They have to touch one more time here, but it's if Azer can, they will force overtime. Back off once again, trying to wait for the team. Going to dash in once more with that overtime, extending it a little bit longer. Just kind of playing as a time extender. Mac going to get 1. Ducks gets Azer. B-Dog as Mac jumps onto points. Graviton Flux have to get on.
No bubble.
They do get on, but no bubble is there. Sam going to get 1 more. Zarya still technically alive. Goes down as Saint, the last one to fall. And the Orange will lose game 2, 1-1 tie, as Utah fights back the Utes. That's a rough one for the squad in Orange.
It's a rough one for the squad in Orange, but, you know, you play 5 games for a reason. We got a lot more Overwatch ahead of us tonight. Something I kind of want to point out here that we saw from Utah was just able to take advantage of when Syracuse's DPS, when their damaged dealers were going on a flank. When they were scouting around for positioning, Utah was able to capitalize and push in and get the find the other 3 members to take him out and win the fight then.
Yeah, I think not seeing Azer on Genji because Genji was banned. I don't think we really fully talked about that. Ram and Genji were the 2 bans for that other end. No Genji kind of makes it a little bit difficult as Azer on Tracer is a little bit easier to flank. Tracer can't get back as fast. The flanks are a little bit different. They're more of a directional. Genji can't just flank through the team. That dash gives a lot of momentum for Azer there, and the captain just can't do much with Tracer when that flank is coming on because they're behind them. Utah had great communication. When they noticed that both DPSs were moving around, they said, okay, go in, go get them. And it's as simple as that. It's just responding to the timing, and they took space when they needed to, and it was perfect for that Utah squad. But the fact that Syracuse lasted that long with that much of difficulty trying to play those team fights is not a great sign for Utah, who played that really well, but still couldn't really get past that Zarya play, as it was really good and great at supporting the team. A lot of team bubbles that saved them from Lucas, and we'll have to really see just kind of how they respond to that. It's going to be interesting to see who they ban, if Sam stays in and they decide to ban Zarya. But that was close because of Sam, but it was also close because of the Zarya on the other squad. It's going to be an interesting decision for both teams here once you go to map 3 and potentially we'll see where we can go here. But that was New Junk City. I love New Junk City, and I think you mentioned it earlier, the open space. Just so much better, I think. The choke point's a lot more fun than those other capture maps.
Look at the shooting sleeve on Mac. That's right. Hey, shooters shoot. And that is not limited to just basketball. Yeah, another thing I want to mention, right? Overwatch as a game is kind of constructed around rules. And a lot of times you have a character that might break that rule. So, for example, Roadhog, right? Seems kind of unfair because you can just hook someone if they appear. You can hook them from 20 meters away and drag them into the middle of your entire team. But a trade-off for that hook is Roadhog doesn't really have anything else going for him, right? So it's all trade-offs, and the trade-off for Zarya is that, you know, you have this insane ability to do damage with your bubbles. If you charge the bubbles, if they get hit, you know, Zarya gains damage if her bubbles are shot at. So you might think, the smart ones at home, okay, so just don't shoot the bubbles. But actually, that's not really what you want to do in most cases. Because the bubbles only have a fixed amount of health, you can just burn the bubbles down. You can just get rid of the bubbles. And if you kill Zarya fast enough, she can't do much damage because she's dead. And that's what Utah were doing very well. They were throwing everybody at the Zarya. Once Lunar ran out of bubbles, you're kind of a sitting duck. And especially with now, like, the healers have to devote all their attention to keeping Lunar up, and they can't pay attention to keeping themselves alive. So something's got to give, right? Either the healers have to keep themselves safe. Now you can't heal Lunar, or you heal Lunar and then you die. So Utah able to kind of squeeze in on these win cons and find a way to take that map 2.
Essentially a mirror match other than that Reaper, and that Reaper does a lot of damage. Teddy was not as big of a player towards the end as they had hoped. I think that was what kind of made it close. Teddy was an X factor in terms of everything else. Syracuse was up 2-1. Teddy ulted. Teddy got almost an entire team wipe like that. And it's interesting to see just because that Reaper can be so good on certain points and so bad on other ones, because that second to last point, it's a great flashpoint for Reaper. It's very tight with choke points. Everything's good, but now Syracuse has to adjust to every little detail. As you mentioned, rules. Every single team comp gives you a set of rules you must follow. And how you follow those rules is how well you play. Teams that can follow those rules and exploit the weaknesses of the other heroes and other players, if you notice anything on that end in terms of, oh, that guy is not doing his job, he's not enforcing that rule, it creates an interesting thing where you're kind of given these set of parameters where they change and they adjust based on heroes, but they change and adjust based on who you're playing. And if Utah's done a great job in enforcing their rules or parameters.
And about that, right, you were saying it's a mirror matchup. The only difference was a Reaper versus a Sojourn. And just think about those two characters as kit. Right, Reaper obviously slower, but has these two movement abilities. Has that Wraith step where you go invulnerable, you can't be shot, you can't be hurt, and has a teleport. Right, so you can play around, but that wants to take place within the team fight. Because if you're a Reaper, you don't have any really burst quick movement options. It's all telegraphed. You can shoot Reaper as he goes in and out of teleport. You can shoot Reaper when he comes out of that shadow step. Sojourn, on the other hand, much more mobile, much faster with that dash ability. You know, you slide across the ground and then you jump up super high in the air. You see a lot more mid-fight repositioning. You're trying to get height. You're trying to get angles. You're trying to play smart. But again, the win cons, if you have the Reaper and you're just kind of deathballing together, if you just get out of the sightline of that Sojourn, you pretty much won the fight.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see because we're just talking about Reaper. Reaper, one of the bans here, as well as Wu Yang on Runa Sappy push. It's the third matchup is push. Orange dominated last time they played against Boise State. That was the third round that they pummeled. That's the first game all year this Orange squad has lost in the PEC. After their win against Boise State, they lost 1-3 to Georgia Tech, who is a very good squad elsewhere outside of this conference. But it's interesting to see just kind of how this Orange team is going to play this now. No Reaper, which means that they can't play any Reaper, but I think that's where they excel.
Yeah, I do too. And I think we're going to see the Genji come out from Azer. I think we might see a little bit of Ram if that doesn't get banned. I think we might see Orisa too with this push map. I think push, if you're Syracuse, you like push because it helps with your momentum. And Push has kind of a streamlined gameplay loop. We saw in these first two maps, Syracuse like to win the fight and then keep going forward. They like to stagger. They like to fight for kind of that untaken space back towards the spawn point of the other team. And in a map like Push, if you take that space that's up front, that's where your little robot is going to come in and fill in behind you. So I think Syracuse likes this map a lot, and I'm curious to see what the Utes have in response.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the Utes play there. It looks like they're going to keep No Sam in, and I don't know what No Sam can play, as I haven't seen this squad play. Utah only played against Ohio State in that match. Did not feature No Sam in it, I believe. So we'll see what they respond with. But I'm pretty sure Orissa's been kind of not as good recently with the changes in meta without Wu Yang. Orissa's a little bit better, but we'll see really what they want to do, because obviously Winston, one of the main calling cards of Lunar. So we'll have to see what they kind of cook up here. I wouldn't be surprised to see the same Ilios combo.
Yeah. You can definitely see that. The world's your oyster, and this is where you can see the creativity from these teams really start to come through, because obviously, right, there is a meta. There are characters you have to play. You know, you have to play Tracer. You have to play Lucio. You don't have to play Lucio, but you kind of have to play Lucio or Kiriko, because their kits are just so good. But it's within that, right? It's the minutia. It's, we're going to pick a Reaper instead of a Sojourn. That's where these teams really find their personality. And that's where you can start getting a little crazy. So I'd like to see something a little crazy. I want to see the Orisa. I want to see a Death Ball. I want to see... All right, comp prediction, Carson.
Whoa.
Syracuse is going to come out. They're going to go Orisa. Asia's going to be on Genji. Lunar, obviously, the Orisa. B-Dog is going to be on the Kiriko. Saint is going to be on the Lucio. And Mac is going to be on the Tracer.
Okay.
And they're just going to...
Okay, I like that idea. Mac is a jack of all trades. I can really play
Mac's
any
going to be on the
DPS.
Sojourn. I lied, because I forgot I said that Orisa was the tank, so that kind of means that Sojourn has to be the DPS.
Sojourn doesn't have to be the DPS in that case. Orisa kind of creates a more brawl combo, where you kind of have to play a little bit more around Orisa. It allows some flanking, which is obviously where Genji comes in, but it's kind of all you can really do. It's more of a brawl, but we'll have to see. I think it's going to be a response in that first push to whatever the Utah side is playing. If it's more Zarya, I think they're going to get off Orisa pretty quickly. Orisa doesn't deal enough damage with her primary to really get rid of those bubbles in time, and that's one of the main problems with Orisa against Zarya. And I wouldn't surprise if they just go right to Winston off the bat, and then maybe they really need to switch to Orisa or Zarya down the road. But it's Push. Push is a weird one. Runasapi, one of the newer maps, I believe, for Push. Yes, it is. And it's just going to be interesting. I'm really surprised we haven't seen any Wu Yang yet against Syracuse or for Syracuse, because Wu Yang keeps getting banned. Yeah,
I mean, look, if you can't beat them, join them. If you can't join them, ban them. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Look down the line. Look at our wonderful boys in orange. Azer, the captain, Mac.
Let me make it clear that despite Mac having a Maryland flag, that is not... Mac is from Chicago.
I think that is what they call a temp jersey.
Yes, the temp jersey.
Yes, the temporary jersey, because male. You know, Carson, so when they make a jersey, I don't know if you knew this, right?
Dude.
They actually have to ship it, and like, you know, you put it in cars and trucks and buses and planes.
Put you in a truck.
Put me in a truck.
Send you somewhere.
Dude, imagine me as a trucker. That's all I have to say. Bear with us here as we wait. I think we're working through some technical difficulties trying to hop into this next game. We're just kind of sitting in the lobby now, and that's why we're talking about truckers.
If you were a trucker, what would be your meal of choice on the road?
Well, I mean, your options are kind of inherently limited.
Well, what if you could have anything?
Oh, like
anything.
I'm on the road, I snap, and it's in my truck.
Yes.
Or
you bring like 400 of them. Like
am I driving, or am I like stopping and eating, or is it kind of whatever I want?
That's whatever you want. Like you can,
okay.
You can in theory eat it while driving, but you probably shouldn't.
Trucker meal. First course, miso soup.
First course, miso soup.
Because you drink it out of a cup.
Are you driving or are you stopping?
I'm driving.
Okay,
I'm driving with my miso soup.
So like if you spill, is it over?
If borderline scalding, because you know you gotta work for it. You gotta work for your soup consumption a little bit. I'd say main course, you want something you can hold in your hand. I'm gonna go with an Italian hoagie.
Italian hoagie.
And then for dessert, can't skip dessert.
Can't skip dessert.
What's better when you're driving a truck than a milkshake?
Oh, true.
Ice cream, yummy, can put in your cup holder.
That's a good shout. I don't know. Milkshake?
Miso soup, Italian hoagie, and a milkshake.
Cream, I'm gonna go I think that's a good shout. All while...
Give us yours quick as we load into Runasappy.
Okay, let's go. I'm going to go Chicken Caesar wrap. Big Chicken Caesar fan. I like that in road trips. And then I'm not going to go appetizer, but I am going to go dessert. And give me a half moon cookie.
Ooh.
Half moon cookie.
Ooh, okay.
Delicious.
Respect the half moon.
Delicious.
I actually don't. I don't like half moon cookies.
Oh, not
Never
delicious.
been a fan.
Evil.
Maybe I've just never had a good one. But half moon, I called them black and white.
Yeah, it kind of depends where you're from.
Yeah.
Or where you went to the first time, or you were brought, because they are made by different people, different companies. Anyway, we're live with Overwatch at the Shine Gaming and Esports Center here at Syracuse University on a cool autumn night, the last warmish day of the fall season, thankfully. I'm ready for winter.
Me when my comp guess is wrong.
In your comp,
Honestly,
I was right.
Okay, I was wrong in every spot except for the Orisa.
Okay, well, what I'm looking right now is Moira. Moira is on my screen.
Is this real from the Utes here? This is an insane comp because Soldier 76 not that good of a hero. Moira. Also not really that good. Moira's really good in the beginner, kind of intermediate levels, but once you get higher and higher, other champions just do more than Moira. But maybe with that ball, with this Soldier, you're just trying to stay alive, do a lot of damage, and outlast. Saint, though, doesn't really want that Soldier to live. It's going to be
Soldier and Moira who go down first. As I wonder, what are they building in there? Azer gets one more. Azer got Sonic, that Moira as Lunar and Azer get another. And it's a pretty easy start for that orange squad as Dux gets clothesline.
I mean, you just have to wonder if we're going to swap off the Moira and the Soldier here. Look, I don't claim...
Oh,
don't worry, we got it, Bastion. I don't claim to know more about Overwatch than any of these players, right? I do not. That being said, I'm a little confused, and I want to see the Utes prove me wrong, but it seems like kind of a draft diff, a hero diff for Syracuse. Azer dancing around that back line, trying to pepper in shots on the Bastion. Low HP, gonna need some help from the healers. Finds it, that Moira goes down. You just don't move that much.
I don't know why they were up there in the first place as Bastion goes down again, and they just don't have enough mobility. It's two hit scan heroes who can't really move. I guess Soldier can run as Azer gets Dux again. Having the field day so far as they chase ball into the back line. I mean, played ball last week. They prepared for it against Boise, and I don't know what's going on as, oh
Juno.
My goodness. Not Juno.
Not Juno. The Utes it's befuddling. I'm befuddled. Azer throws out that pulse bomb, tries to, stop people from coming through that doorway, give him a chance to heal up, get out, and rejoin the team. That ball comes in from the top, gonna have a lot of damage, a lot of health, has the ultimate ability up, but Syracuse lose Saint. They have two ults, though. They could still fight for this if they so desired. It's gonna need, a pick is gonna need to come in soon, though. Kitsune Rush.
It's a venture pick. It should be interesting here. Mac going to get Kalau. They're finally on Tracer. Snow Sam goes down, and the push is over for the Utes. Forward spawn for the Orange. They try and get Lunar, but Lunar runs over Dux, uses Primal Rage. Azer gets one more. Moira stranded. It's just not going to be enough as they teleport away. Going to have to jump back. Good job from Lunar not to overextend. No, when you got to back out. And I just don't understand the team comp. I mean, you did mention do something unexpected. I did not mean that. I don't think you meant that, though.
I didn't. But Lunar snipes down the Kiriko from the top. The Winston is literally playing the role of a sniper DPS because no one could get up there because their DPS just can't move. Their Moira can't do anything, but as I say that, of course, they find some kills. Venture finds two. Another one for No Sam and Kalau. Sonic all go down. Syracuse lose control of the point.
Yeah, that forward spawn. It's a 1-1 tie in the game so far. This is match 3. Orange are going to take control, but I mean, I guess with 4 ults, you're bound to do something with them. And the Utes have themselves a bit of a push here. They force Orange out of out of the forward spawn, and they finally get their first push going for 3.9 meters prior to contestant.
Yeah, Venture goes into the ground. Free escape there. Kalau gonna find Lunar with that pulse bomb. Syracuse relegated quickly to a 4v5. Look here to see if they want to use their ults. If they want to get out, they're gonna spend Lelouchio ult Mac. Going to pop that overclock as well. The 1v1 comes in. Now Mac finds 2. Saint picks up the kill on a Sonic. 1 HP for the Venture. Mac with the triple opens up the Utes.
Wow. That's a hat trick for Mac. Excuse me, that's 4. Double brace for Mac as Kylao goes down overextended, and it's a real tough break for Utah. It's a Roadhog pick now, and things are just kind of seems like they're breaking down. Utah can't choose what they want. Is this and Lucio as well? Is that support combo now? Kiriko and Lucio more meta. Everything else is kind of thrown to the wind. Venture ult still there, so they still have an ability to push right here. Orange still being cautious. Their team comp doesn't really line up to this, but they still can pretty easily beat it if they do it right.
Yeah, the Kitsune rush comes. Now Syracuse going to have an opportunity to move forward, push forward, but Roadhog counters it by just standing there. The big body takes up the space. The hook comes in. Lunar goes down. B-Dog 2. Syracuse now 3v5, just going to have to get out.
I kind of see the vision now because it's such high health and so much that they have to beat that it's kind of tough right now for this Orange squad. They can't do enough damage. That's a weird thing I didn't expect to say, but here it is. Lunar, calling card. Here comes the Orisa to do more damage.
Bang. This is exactly the team comp that I prophesized. Or I think it was the Genji instead of the Tracer.
No, you're right.
Never mind.
No, it was the Genji. I'm a liar.
Nope. Carson's wrong. I'm completely right. Syracuse now with the best team comp ever designed, going against a comp I played in Quick Play the other day. What will happen here? Mac with the overclock, looking to make something big happen. You saw before, secured himself the triple. The Venture ult, though, going to come out first. Finds 1, finds 2. Syracuse now in a 3v5. Saint goes down 2. Lunar follows. And the Utes going to cap this first checkpoint for Syracuse to a spawn that is further back.
Yeah, we saw Azer's perspective of that, and that was pretty much an excavation of the Orange team. Good pun there, I guess. Drill.
Nice.
Big drill pun is, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking
Mac.
about the rules of Roadhog earlier. The trade-off is that if you're Roadhog, once you use that hook, you kind of can't do anything other than stand there. But if you're hitting that hook, lights out.
I'm seeing the vision here. They're just playing what they know how to play, and I respect that a lot. They know that Venture spot right there. Immediately almost going down is Mac, but Mac going to get Sonic anyway. Wow. They use that overclock into the ground. Azer's going to get ducks. No support right now for Utah. They're going to get real aggressive. Lunar gets one more. B-Dog another. Mac dominating!
Really want to point out the play from Saint there. I don't think it would have mattered either way because B-Dog came in with the teleport to keep Mac up. But you see Mac fly into the back line. Saint immediately switches to speed, feels that, wow, what's the voice line for the speed? I forget, because it's not feel the heal and beat.
Feeling the beat? I don't know.
Anyway, uses the speed and is able to go in there and save Mac. This team is playing with such high levels of synergy, determination, and power. The Orisa ult is online, 5v5. The Wild Hog comes out for the road. Kailu, with that pulse bomb, able to find a good kill onto Saint. Now Syracuse have to make a decision. Do they want to fight this or do they want to back up?
Roadhog says, Utes, let's ride, and really is just pushing that squad forward. Here comes the Orisa ult, and Vulnerable going to keep it around a little bit longer,
Kitsune.
but the Lucio ult comes out. It's Kitsune Rush for the Orange. Sam going to get Mac. It's not a trade. They don't have Kitsune Rush. Sam nearly goes down, but so much health on that Roadhog. They finally go down. Stuck in the corner, Lucio, and the Frog is squashed.
Pop goes the Weasel. If the Weasel was a frog. I like that. The frog was squashed. It turned midnight. It turned midnight, and the frog did not meet a princess.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, you know, it kind of just happens like that sometimes. Syracuse now pushing this little guy back up again. So when that this is a payload, it's a push map, right? So when that guy is back up against the barrier, he pushes it slowly if the team is in the area. But if you're not up to that barrier, you know, you see him do the nice little jog. Syracuse looks to take this space up at front. Mac with the full charge on that railgun, fires, misses the first shot. Taking space, though, Lunar does an amazing job pushing the team, opening them up for Azer and B-Dog to come in and find 3.
It's a really good job, Brawl Comp with the Mac that is just behind them, and that's a sandwich they just made, and Utah was the middle.
Sandwich.
Knuckle sandwich. A lot of melees from this Utah squad.
People like that punch key. It's also cool when it shows up in the kill feed and there's a little fist. It feels like you you beat someone up.
I mean, I guess that's the goal of the game in the end, speaking of Brawl Comp.
Yeah. Tracer on the right, trying to do these flanks. You see Mac fight on the left. Azer finds the one on the right. Mac finds one on the left, but, you know, they do little swapsies, life for life. Lunar says hi to the Zarya, pops that Fortify, gonna run in, has the ult, pops it down, 150 and counting, 70, bang! No Sam, gonna fall.
Really good job to get rid of the bubble by that Orange squad. You love to see teamwork, and that's it right there. Here comes that excavation from Venture below the ground. They come back up, and it's nearly over for this Utah squad. A minute left. They have to come back 60 more meters. Or, yes, excuse me, 55 more meters. Lunar spears the frog. Kailau gonna get a good pulse bomb, but it's not enough to fully get rid of the orange. It's a 4-on-3.
Yeah, so
Lunar goes down.
In Syracuse, remember, they don't have to force to try and triple cap here, because when that clock hits 0, if the Utes are in control of the payload, they will have essentially a do or die, right? They have to get it as far or further than Syracuse if they want to win. All Syracuse has to do there is win just one team fight. If you vacate Utah from the point, you win. Again, Syracuse and Utah tied 1-1 in the match score. Whoever wins this will be up 2-1, putting the loser on match and series point.
It's a really bad look for Utah. They get staggered by the orange, really trying to get eliminated to not stagger. You don't want to see that. It was 2 picks they got there, and now Utah had to wait, and now we're here. 12 seconds remain. Utah stuck in the middle. Teddy gets Mac. Teddy gets another. Some great Venture play, but B-Dog going to get rid of the tank.
Bang.
What can they do? Saint gets Sonic.
Nice.
It's a good trade there. Still contested. Headed to overtime. Utah has to touch. Venture the only one remaining. As there's one more, excuse me. Tracer back on after the elimination. Lunar gets Venture back one more there.
Get the
overtime.
Tracer.
Still trying to get rid of it. Pulse bomb thrown.
Get the Tracer.
Orange trying to stay out of overtime, but here comes another.
Get the
ball
ball.
is back. Get the ball. Get the ball.
The ball's down.
Overtime.
Get the Lucio.
Frog in the corner.
Get the Lucio.
Syracuse wins the round. Wow.
A slow burn is what you could call that, or you could call it a fast burn. Prolonged burn. Syracuse able to win the push map, go up, take a 2-1 lead in the series. Syracuse Orange versus the Utah Utes.
That's a really good job from the Orange. Playing something they weren't expecting, as Mac was just dominant all game. My goodness. Venture could only fly through the air after hitting that bounce pad, and watch them get right-clicked.
Watch a railgun right inside of your face.
It's a point-and-click adventure game for that guy.
Yeah.
RuneScape. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it really is.
He's just farming the other team, it feels like, at certain points, and he's been a great addition for this Orange squad. And, I mean, it's been really cool to see them on Sojourn. It's just such a good team right now, and you can see they click together almost all the time.
Shouts out to the Bastion Soldier Moira era of that game for the Utes. You know, you wonder what would have happened if maybe the Utes were playing a not troll team comp for the first half, because once they switched, they didn't win a single team fight playing this. Maybe it's just ahead of its time. Maybe it'll come soon. But once they switched to a more typical team comp, they started doing more. Once they got an Orisa of their own, they started winning more fights. That Roadhog did do a good job opening us up things for him, but Roadhog is also one of those champs where it's like, once if you switch to Roadhog, you don't really realize. Then you get hooked a few times. You maybe die a few times uncharacteristically. And then you go, okay, wait, they have Roadhog hook. I remember why this character is never picked in pro play. Because you could just avoid him. And then when he has no hook, you can kind of just kill him because he's a sponge. That is also why you saw Mac with so many overclocks. Because Roadhog is literally just a big body that you can sink bullets into.
I mean, it's the big. I guess it's the biggest hitbox in the game by pretty wide margin.
Yeah, big boy.
In terms of,
big
I guess, like square inches. But a really good job from Syracuse to reply to those odd team comps, because we talked about those rules. Those rules get confusing when you see things that you don't ever see until, like, the last time you saw it was when you played Overwatch for the first time in 2018, which is actually pretty late to get into the game for Overwatch now that I think about it. But it's just, how do you approach that? And the Orange found that way.
Yeah.
Really good job. Really great job to adjust, and that's kind of what this game's all about. That's what they're all about.
Yeah, you know, I said that that push map, that's what Syracuse likes to see. For map 4, we're going to be going into Circuit Royale. So it's a payload map.
Right.
You got to push a payload along a track. You know, it's not like there's a robot where it goes back and forth. One team's on the attack, one team's on the offense, then one team's on the defense. One team's on the attack, and then you switch at halftime. We have our first bans coming out. Utah's going to ban Widowmaker, and then Syracuse is going to ban Zarya.
That's a really good job for Syracuse. That's kind of the only real thing that I think they were going to have a problem with on Circuit Royale. Really interesting about Widow. It's an interesting ban. It's not... Circuit Royale is a really wide, narrow map, but Widowmaker can do a lot of picks, but Syracuse doesn't play that much Widowmaker. It kind of feels like a lack of scouting, as I do know they do play Widowmaker. Mac plays a ton of Widow, because Mac can aim
Dude, they're
really
nasty.
well.
They're nasty. That's a good ban. That's a good ban.
But they don't play it that much, even on Circuit Royale. They haven't.
Probably because it gets banned every time.
That's a good point.
Look,
That's
I mean, I don't
that's
know.
also a good point.
I don't know that for a fact. But also, right, if you're Utah, you know that Syracuse has got some aimers. You know Mac's a dog. You know Azer's a dog.
Good
They
point,
both,
clickers.
dude, they both play so much Kovacs. You try and play Widow into this Syracuse Orange squad, you won't have a head, Carson.
That's a good point.
Be taken off.
It's getting rid of the, I don't know really what to ban, but I know they can aim really good, so I'm just going to make sure my head stays on my shoulders. But, you know what? If you're unfamiliar with Escort, as the Orange are up 2-1, they go to Escort as the game 4 of the PEC. It is similar to Payload, if you've ever played Team Fortress 2 or any other cart-pushing game. I can't really think of anyone other than that.
Football.
Paladins?
Football's a card-pushing game.
It is a cart-pushing game.
I mean, football is essentially Escort.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, kind of. There's a time element that is unrelated to downs and distance. But anyway, Escort is you're trying to get a car to the end. You have 3 or 2 or 1 checkpoint along the way, depending on the map. You have time to get it to that checkpoint. Hitting a checkpoint will increase the time limit to get to the end. And the Orange have been excellent last year on Escort. It was the game 2, so you saw it a lot more. But even game 4, if the Orange win this one, it is a best of 5, so keep that in mind. They win this game, it is
then
a
it's,
wrap.
Then it's lights out. Finally, we get to see the broken champ from Mac.
I'm really excited for this. I cannot believe they're going to this so early.
Yeah, it's a crazy pull at this point in the match. You know, Freya just does so much work, so much damage, and like we were saying, Mac is an aimer. So many hours on Kovacs this guy has, and I think we're about to see.
That primary fire, a little less time to charge, and then a Hanzo arrow that moves at the same speed does a heck of a lot of damage. And
Asia has the sim as well.
Mac. Yeah, it's a really fun team comp from the Orange here. Freya, Sim, Ram, Wu Yang, and Ana from Saint, who plays a lot of Ana. And it's interesting team comp there. It's a very big flank combo with Sigma from Nosan.
Mac now fighting in that back line, just trying to pepper in those crossbows. You get to see Lunar on the signature Ramatra. Both teams now fighting. This is the first big choke point of this map. This corner, this bridge, this is where the first big team fight will take place. You see the Utes trying to go up on that bridge, trying to get height. Syracuse trying to fight forward a little bit, but they're going to wait for when they come through the bridge, because that's when those symmetric turrets can really start coming online.
Ram going to be kind of more of a brawl comp here for this Orange squad, who are playing what they used to play a lot of, which is a Genji-based kind of flank, mainly brawl comp. Is that Genji did a really good job in the beginning, as Max really struggled to hit those shots early due to that wall of Sigmas. That's kind of the ideal there. Lunar goes down to Kailau. Now it's a bit of a tough shout right here. Sim going to back off. Orange not playing what they're used to.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Azer might be the GOAT.
Playing Portal 2.
Azer.
Oh.
Oh, but imagine though. Good job from the Utes, able to push in and capitalize on the mistake. Lunar just caught a little bit too far away from his healers. Gonna fall, and it's just Utah able to step on the gas in the right way with the right amount of tenacity. Win that first fight and the first point.
Orange seemed to be getting a little bit of trauma from the championship last year, Circuit Royale, where they lost Game 3 to the Boise State Broncos and lost the championship, becoming runner-ups in Las Vegas last year. And Mac, what you're seeing, when they aim down, they get a bit of a levitate. It's pretty broken and limited on slanted surfaces earlier in the game for Freya. Got nerfed. Kailau going to get Mac.
Yep.
And a bit of a struggle for Mac, who might just ult and switch off, as it's just been cold for Circuit Royale.
Yeah, at a certain point, if a hero's not working, if the shots aren't landing, you might as well switch to what's been working for Mac. It has been the Sojourn, as Syracuse look to move forward.
Going to be the right click here for Lunar, just trying to get more space, trying to push them off of their point a little bit. Teleporter down for Azer. It's full ults for both sides almost, other than Azer, who's at 90%.
Yep.
They're trying to get one more. Saint can get rid of Teddy. That's a big one to go. Here comes Lunar into the offensive end. Low, they get Nano.
The Nano.
Lunar's going to get one. Pushing forward. Has that Ram ult. Will they use it? They won't. That's one down. Get out of the punch phase. That's another. Still punching anyway. Swinging. Last one goes down. Sonic can't get out fast enough.
Syracuse just kind of entered the fight, right? They started beefing, they started brawling, and they waited. They waited for the perfect opportunity, and Saint found it, able to capitalize perfectly with that nano, allows Ram to just run in there and start blasting.
Really slow start defensively. That's a really good response, as you've mentioned. Sigma's still there. Had that ult usage there, but didn't do much of anything. Kind of missed. Matt gonna get one. It's a trade though as Azer goes down, pushing forwards. Lunar stunned. Has that extra health. Gonna have to back off now once out of phase. Has to wait 7 seconds to get back into that punching phase. As now that's a mirror wall. Genji up top trying to get rid of it. Max switching to Sojourn. Had a lot more luck with it earlier. Still struggling a little bit, but still drawing enough attention for their team to do well.
The Ram ult is going to come out, and Lunar is going to use it as his chance to walk forward and try and take some space, take some damage, make some names. Teddy with that Dragon Blade in the back is going to find the kill onto Saint. Now Syracuse has to regroup. The Genji's low, but the kill's not going to come through. Lunar now pops that ability. Going to use it to run forward, punch more. Didn't get anything with the big punch, but maybe the little punches can hit home.
Fed Sigma's health a little bit with that Vortex as Sigma just fell off the edge. That's a rough one for Utah.
Tough.
Had space and has to give it up after Sigma just fell, to be honest. They held some space. Anyway, good job. Genji has to go down earlier, so what's going on doesn't happen. They teleport backwards. Trying to get one more. Wu Ying goes down. It's 2 for K-Lao, and it's a DPS and Wu Ying that goes down. Azer gonna get one with the turret, as it's going to be Ducks, but things just not going well. No supports for the Orange, and it's a 2-on-5 as Saint tries to keep Lunar as long as they can. They're coming back, though. Lunar stays alive up top, needs to stay alive a bit longer, jumps into the healers. Lunar gets one, having to back off, stuck in a corner as Sam gonna get Lunar, who just could not get out. Knife fight in a phone booth.
I was literally just about to say I want to see Azer switch off of the Symmetra, and I want to see him go Genji. I want to see him go Tracer. Azer has so much more gas in the tank. This guy is a killer, and this champion will enable him to do just that.
You know, I was going to say we haven't seen Circuit Royale to this point. And I realize that's wrong because we just haven't seen this end of it too often.
Nano
Most
boost.
blowouts here. Azer has Nano moving forward, trying to do the best into it.
The lamp gonna come out, keep Utah alive, but Azer not deterred. Syracuse moving forward. Mac comes in from the left with the overclock, finds 2, unable to find a third before Rock hits him in the face, sends him back tumbling to the ground. Azer though finds one more on Sonic, another on a no Sam. A good clean up. Tandem duo, tag team work from these 2 DPS on Syracuse. Roommates, by the way.
That Genji survives. They'll have to back off again in that choke point. Syracuse down to their final checkpoint. For those of you new to Escort and new to Overwatch, 2 minutes remain for that payload to get to that yellow marker on the map. That's about 60 meters. Ram ult comes out. Saint gonna get one with the grenade, as Kylao gonna get Lunar mid-ult. That's rough, but another one goes down. Teddy, they've lost both DPSs, and despite getting rid of an ulting Ram, really can't have an opportunity to push despite Mac going down.
Yeah, it's a great job from Syracuse. You don't have to win every team fight, you know, in a dominating fashion. You can just do enough so that the Utes couldn't possibly keep pushing forward, and that's exactly what Syracuse does.
They have enough time, though, and without a tank, it's only futile. They're gonna move forward eventually. Saint kind of outside now, trying to deal with everything out there. Entire Syracuse squad up outside, trying to jump down in a tech pause, I would guess.
Yeah, you'd have to assume it's a tech pause. I mean, yeah, it seems like there was a DC, one of the players on Utah. Couldn't quite stay in the lobby. Carson, some people will say it's because Utah's a little scared. Utah a little scared. No, I
far away from the server.
I think what you see here is both teams actually playing this pretty well, right? They're almost at this stalemate, which will favor the defense, because if the offense cannot keep pushing through, it's a win for the defense. But no, I really like the way that Syracuse is able to use that synergy between their DPS to go around, to play off each other, to find those picks. But on the other side of the playing field, I think No Sam is having a great game, able to take space, able to find the kills that matter. You saw up there, Lunar tried to ult in the middle, just absolutely locked down by the abilities from Utah.
We're back. Little countdown. I don't know why I did
Thank
that.
God. I was running out of things to say, Carson.
Yeah, you know what? It happens. It really happens to the best of us. They back off. That pause may have calmed their aggression a little bit as the Nano nearly gets Sigma, but they can't do much with that. They force them to back off for a moment, though, get some more time. Up top are 2, down are 3, and Syracuse trying to brawl. They need to find a way to play better defense. They're just kind of giving up space now.
You can give up space if you have a way to take it back, and this is going to be their way. Azer dashing in, swinging the blade, finds one. That lamp's going to come out, not able to find the second. 1 HP on the Genji. Azer pops out the deflect, forces them back. The dash through, finds the Genji. That will stall Utah, but no! Sam, 40-55, finds a quick two-piece, and now Utah right back on the offensive.
Thought they were going to get Lunar with the melee, and Azer dashed right into them. Final moments, just a few meters remain, 6 more, for this squad in Utah. Orange forced them to back off for a moment. 40 seconds remain, and all ults on the Utah side.
This is going to be an absolute massive fight here. Syracuse going to have to pull every trick out of their back pocket if they want to stop the Utes from capping. 3 ults online for Utah, none for Syracuse. The only one you hope will come up soon, Ram and Overclock. That will be massive.
Sigma missed.
If
Sigma
Syracuse
missed
is able to farm those, the Overclock out from Kalu, gonna find one onto Saint. Syracuse desperately trying to stall, trying to charge up their own ults to try and have a say in the fight. Teddy gonna take down Lunar. Now Syracuse really fighting between a rock and a hard place.
It's a sleep on Ram. They try and get it. Down goes Genji. Excuse me. Sleep on Genji.
Touch.
Trying to get one more. 3 seconds, but they go down just in time for Utah, who do a really good job pushing when they were off, and then just kind of knocking them down, clay pigeons as they fell. And round 1 is a 3-0 so far for that Utah squad. Now Syracuse has to match that, but no time remaining for Utah. They'll have 1 minute if they go to overtime. Syracuse gets to the end with that payload, just like Utah did.
Yeah, you know, it's a strong message in the first kind of phase of this match from Utah, able to get it all the way. Syracuse, though, not without consolation prize. You got it down to overtime, which means if Syracuse is able to cap this with any amount of time on the clock, it puts them in a massive, massive advantage when we start moving into the later phases of the game. Syracuse just got to really buckle in, find that offensive team comp, and just kind of hit a home run.
I think this SU squad that was so good on Kings Row last year in the clutch, in those later offensive moments. As
May
is on, I don't think they're gonna stick with this.
No, they're sticking with it. They're sticking. Okay, so Azer low key plays May.
Okay, was unaware of this fact.
His walls. They call it the Great Wall of Azer. Is the way he uses May's ice wall ability right there. No, but this team comp from Syracuse kind of plays around their strengths really well, because you have Mac on that Sojourn, right? Mac spends probably 40 hours in Kovacs each week just training up that aim. You laugh, I'm not joking. This guy is a killer. And Azer there playing a great kind of support DPS, much more of a mental game, the mind game, right? You got to place your walls right, you got to hit those right clicks, you got to take space. So I'm looking forward to see this offensive push here from Syracuse.
Already Azer doing some good job with that right click on May. Max showed up at 5:45 and tracked, then scored a little bit Twitter, then tracked again for almost the entire time. As it's just been great for them. Mac, really good drive for the Syracuse squad, pushing forward up top. Lunar gonna get one, as that's the tank advantage, crucial to the game, and Lunar gets another with that May slow. It's low-key really good.
It's low-key really good as Azer on that May, holding W. Why do you need to stop moving forward? Finds another icicle, puts it right in the dome of Sojourn as Syracuse, honestly, win this. It's gonna be hard for the Utes to contest on this first point.
Just a May W key. Is it 2016 again?
The Pharah coming out from Teddy, trying to take advantage of this May pick. You know, May not really good at shooting things out of the air. Teddy looking to take advantage of that. The only kind of counter to Pharah that Syracuse has is obviously Mac, and B-Dog on this Baptiste is going to have to do a lot of damage there. Ram now fighting in the middle. The Sojourn E comes in, slows down everybody. Syracuse trying to find these last 2 meters. The extra damage wall is going to come out in Syracuse. Their damage now is amplified by about 80%. Going to use that. The way it comes up keeps the Utes alive for now as we just keep peppering each other, Carson.
Yeah, racking up that damage stat, and there comes Mac on that other end. Azer gets Kayla with the help of Mac. It's a DPS tag team.
Bang.
As B-Dog gets Teddy out of the air. Baptiste really the only one that can strike them, and they do. Azer gets one more. Bang. Mac and Lunar get 2. It's a team kill for the Orange, and they are rolling somehow faster than Utah did.
Yeah, so it got a little lost there as everybody was just kind of shooting at each other. But what I think was happening is Syracuse was waiting for the speed boost to come out from Lucio. Once you kind of saw them standing there, and then all of a sudden they burst forward onto the scene. That's because Saint had that speed boost up, that amplifying energy on the speed music. Syracuse used to run forward, get in the back line, and find the good picks.
Unity Lamp coming out for
Blizzard.
that other for both squads there as ours goes down. Teddy gets it, Kylao gets Azer, and wouldn't be surprised to see a switch potentially at this stage in the game, as they are after the May ult could go down. Lunar kind of fighting alone on that left side, trying to move up, as all four of the 5 ults for this Utah squad are up. They could use them here, but I'd be surprised if they did. As it's kind of an interesting situation where you're just going to wait if you're Utah for Syracuse to ult first, or no, they're going to try and get the header on it. No Sam,
right
and
in.
Teddy going to ult as Lunar goes down, but no Sam goes down. Real good job from May and Lucio.
Yeah, now it's a 4v4, and you've used 2 high-value ults. If you're Utah, the overclock comes through from Kylao. After the overclock from Mac. Mac, though, finds that kill onto Teddy. Now Syracuse have the man advantage, looking to push forward, take advantage of this position.
Keep in mind, the bans here are Widow, so it's kind of tough to get rid of Pharaoh, which is, you probably would see a Widow if Pharaoh was on the other end.
Don't worry, we got rid of Pharaoh. We got a Bastion, because that worked great
as soon as
on the first map.
I was going to go into that, because I don't know what they're doing here. Circle Royale is a better map. Lunar punching in as Ram extends with the help of the team. Damage wall up top.
Mac goes over there to try and play off of it, fighting in the corner. Azer and his tank, they find 2 kills. Saint goes down, though, but Syracuse with the man advantage just have to get 0.2 meters more, and they'll get it.
Face the palm.
And
4 minutes and 25 seconds for the Orange to get to the end here.
Again, the score, Syracuse, reminder, up 2-1 in this match against the Utah Utes. Utah fighting to keep their match night alive. Syracuse want to go home right now, a little bit early, and they're going to try and just keep the pedal pressed down to the metal.
Orange have to force overtime here, and you have to do it as soon as possible. Max aggression on for this Orange squad as they sit in the other team's spawn, essentially. Ooh, Mac! Top down gets Kylao as Mac gets clay pigeoned by Teddy. Some more venture from both sides. We saw some from Azer at the end of last game here on Circuit Royale. Does well in these tight spaces. Maywell going to keep venture away. That back end, Azer now up top with Ram as they move point forward, just distracting them, moving them outside.
Taking a look at these ults up here, Saint has the Lucio ult online. Mac is right behind him with that overclock. Lunar following close. Syracuse has the ult advantage, and they try to push it. The boost, or the health comes out from Saint, and that's going to open up Syracuse to run in. Mac, Azer, Saint, Azer, Mac, Saint in the kill feed to net Syracuse to fight.
You know, a team kill less than 40 meters away typically is a good sign. Syracuse moving forward. Mac and Lunar still have ults.
Bang.
This is a great start here. No ults for that circuit, for that circuit side. For that Utah side, the Utes have to do what they did to the Orange and have to try and defend that. At the end here, 3 minutes remain for the Orange. They're going to go max aggression. You have to imagine Mac and Lunar are going to ult in just a moment. Lunar going to wait till they get a little lower. Trying to push
Mac
out. Here comes the ult.
it.
It's a double ult as No Sam does it as well. Stuck in the immunity, but gets frozen.
2.
Azer gets 1, Mac gets another, Kylao gets Mac on that point, trying to get to the end. Orange moving forward. They have a 3-minute, 43-second advantage to 1 as the Orange force overtime.
Yeah, commanding a time advantage here for Syracuse. I'm trying to figure out how I can phrase this to emphasize for the viewer at home who, you know, might not be as familiar with Overwatch just how important this time difference is. So once this minute for Utah runs out, that's it, right? They essentially can't leave the payload or else it's over. And then Syracuse has 3.5 minutes to push it the same amount of distance, or I guess technically like 0.1 meters further. It'd be like in a football game, one team has to score a touchdown starting at their own 20, and the other team gets to start on the other team's 30. It is a massive thing that Syracuse is able to do, capping that point with 3 minutes and 43 seconds to spare.
Syracuse shows up with college football overtime rules, while the NFL rules applied for Utah, if that makes sense to anyone back home. It's a big disadvantage for Utah.
Simply put. Yeah, to summarize the nonsense we've been spewing, Syracuse is in a good position.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good start for the Orange this season to see how well they've been fighting, despite being down that early. The Syracuse squad doesn't seem to give up in any real situation. They 3-0'd Boise for a reason, and they're trying to 3-1 Utah, who might get 3-1 for the second time this season, which would be a disaster of a start in the PEC for one of the fresh new faces out of Baylor, Utah, as well as Minnesota. Mac going to lead that charge, trying to get more damage from the backside. They can do more this time, not on Freya. Did a lot better on Sojourn, which they're more comfortable with, as one goes down in the form of nearly Azer, who actually makes it out of that one. Wu Yang Sonic
Yep.
is Wu Yang once again, which is going to be an interesting idea here.
Yep.
It didn't work that well. They had to switch out of it pretty early.
Syracuse, they're really playing up. They want to make Utah fight for every inch because every second you can delay them is a meter less that they're able to push that cart forward. Escort that cart forward, I should say. Lunar, though, under pressure, under fire from Utah, has to fall back. Now Syracuse can hold this corner. This corner, this bridge, this is the most important choke of this first point, and Mac deletes K-Lau.
It's a really good start. Now they force him into Maywall there. It's kind of just
Great
a shooting
wall.
gallery. Saint gets one in the form of Wu Yang. Dux nearly goes down as Mac gets caught by Sam in the back end, but isolated from the team. The other support goes down for both sides.
2
Dux
seconds,
goes one
1
more. B-Dog,
second.
the only one left. Overtime.
Gotta
and only
touch
55
the
meters
wall.
for the Utes, who cannot touch again.
Azer, the Great Wall of May. What did I call it before? The Great Wall of Azer?
Yeah.
The Great Wall of Azer. No, but I mean, that's why you pick the May, because it can do enough damage. You know, it's such a... These maps are so carefully designed. They have, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars of research staff hours that go into creating these maps. And when you can just get a May and add a brand new wall that covers like the entire choke point, if you use that right, it's just so good, especially when the Utes don't have that much time.
What if you could play Minecraft in any game you wanted? That makes 2, actually.
Yeah.
In the PC.
Yep. 2 Minecraft games. The reference we make to Steve in Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Go check out those Thursday streams. Syrup and that squad is a really fun team to watch
Electric.
right now. Electric.
And I mean, another thing, as we just briefly touch on the old team before we watch Syracuse hopefully win this, clean this game up, all of their players are getting better. They're heating up. They're going to be good. But right now, we got to focus in because, Carson, it is 2-1. Syracuse are in the lead. The match score, 2 maps for Syracuse, 1 map for Utah. If Syracuse is able to push to escort this cart 55.07 meters, they will win, moving themselves to 2-0 in the PEC.
Sources saying not that far, as I'm seeing Hanzo Sojourn as Recon Dart goes out. Azer will back out purely for the use of that Recon arrow. Azer going to move back onto Sim. Lunar pushing forward with that squad, and already a fourth of the way there with Utah no touching in the front.
Yeah, Syracuse just looking to try and take, again, we talk about this choke, this bridge is so vital. If Syracuse can control it, they control the game. Teddy, though, does not want that to happen on the venture, digs Azer up. Syracuse keep trying to push forward. Lunar, right, you see him trying to take space on the bottom. Orisa there is a good pick to try and really keep Syracuse out.
Yeah, if they can't get it here, Lunar probably will swap to Orisa to counter that, as that wall is good. As you talk about the upgrades, Orisa has that wall.
B-Dog.
Up top, trying to deal with it. That's an anti-Orisa flying away. Good job by the Lifeweaver of Utah.
Bang.
Saint gets another, and Clearlau gets B-Dog.
But these kills do favor Syracuse. Their spawn's closer. They're in a better position. The Lifeweaver, the platform up in the air. Lunar now fighting up on this bridge. Going to go into punch mode. Space has to be respected as Lunar starts to walk forward. Syracuse with the man advantage for the next 2 to 3 seconds before the rest of Utah gets back. Mac now fully charged, finds the first headshot onto Kalo, really opening up this push. Syracuse just have to get it 2 more meters. Utah falls back, 0.25, contesting it for now, but not for long. Syracuse looking to close it out. Just find one more. Carson, they do it. Your Syracuse Orange move up 2-0, undefeated in the PEC, 3-1 over the Utah Utes.
Well, the Utah Utes, who were favored to really compete in this conference as a championship contender, fall to 0-2. Not a good start for them, but boy, one heck of a start for this Orange squad.
I mean, it's just electric when you have absolute fraggers. Look at that! That headshot from Mac absolutely opens up this entire fight. You see, they just kind of W key forward. Saint finds one, Mac cleans them up, and it's just a matter of time until Syracuse are able to put all these Utes back in Utah.
Putting the house on the Orange the rest of the year, that's what that is telling me.
Yep.
Great chemistry for the Syracuse squad. My goodness, you just love to see things like that. Mac was elite. I mean, when they couldn't find it, Azer struggled a little bit in certain parts, and Mac was there to pick them up. When Lucas struggled a little bit, I mean, the rest of the team, the supports were there to back them up. As Saint and B-Dog have just been elite in the backline this year.
Yeah, and that's something that you keep hearing from Syracuse. You know, they know that there are other individual players in this PEC, in the conference, who might be better than some of their individual players. But the one thing you keep hearing them saying is there is not a team that plays more together. There's not a team that is more cohesive. These guys spend so much time together. They eat together. They sleep together. They play together. And you really see that coming through here in this dominant 3-1 victory.
They play the kind of style where they bleed too is the idea.
Yep.
No matter who they play any given week, the Syracuse squad will come out and compete. They will fight for wins. They will do anything to win, and they will stall you, make it hard. You win a 3-2 game, and you're feeling disappointed about it against the Syracuse squad.
I mean, as we just watch the replays, we get to bask in the glory of the Overwatch that we just witnessed. You just see these pushes. Syracuse is moving together. They're retreating together. They're pausing together. And it really, if you're these other teams in the PEC, you're starting to watch Syracuse now because you have to prepare. You have to prepare for this team specifically. That's how well-oiled of a machine these players are.
Number 1 on my power rankings this weekend. Staying by it. 2-0 for the Orange, and one heck of a start of the season for them. Next week will be a tough one, but I believe it's Ohio State. Yes, it's Ohio State for the Orange, who currently sit at 2-0. The other team to beat Utah could be their toughest test yet. Went undefeated versus Ohio State last year, though, and not much change in that Buckeye squad, as the Ohio Valley will need more than chestnut trees to beat the Syracuse team.
Yeah, it's a match that you're not going to want to miss. So tune in next Tuesday. But we also have a full week of PEC action coming up tomorrow night. Syracuse University takes on the Utes in Valorant. And then the day after, you take them on in Smash. Carson, you're going to be here tomorrow.
No Smash for Utah this week.
No Smash for Utah.
But, yeah, I mean, I'll take you to Val tomorrow. But apart from that, I don't think we have much else, Danny.
No. I think the message we can leave y'all with is that the Syracuse Orange are here. They're real, and y'all should be scared.
Put it all on Orange in Vegas, my friends.
Have a great night.